morning everybody, and I'm speaking to you from a new location today. I'm in this really beautiful barn conversion because I've come away to just outside a tiny little village called Llandysul in West Wales. I've come away with Richard and my family to have a couple of days break, and it's not terribly warm outside, it's quite blowy. But the scenery around here is absolutely stunning. But I know most of my videos are about camper vanning, especially about my Mazda Bongo. But I have always wanted to try hammock camping. And it's my birthday next month, and I've made a deal with myself that before my next birthday, I'm going to have a little go at hammock camping. And as there are some really lovely woods around here, it made sense to at least have a go of putting this up before the main event when I'm actually camping in it. So I decided to go for the DD Travel Hammock, and I got that one mainly because you can also use it as a bivy because it's got a waterproof base on it. So I like to keep my options open, so I thought that would come in handy. That's the one I went for. And it comes with straps that you can attach it to trees, but I did upgrade and go for the DD suspension system. And what you get with that are these whoopee slings, more of these shortly, these carabiners, which are very light, I barely know you're holding them, and a set of 2 tree huggers. So as I say, I've watched a few videos. I think I've got a rough idea. I know I've got to take the suspension webbing off the hammock, the one it comes with, and thread this through instead. So I shall do that before I go out today. Okay, so I'm going to take out the hammock. Let's have a little look what's in here. So you've got these suspension poles as well, which help keep the bug net off your face. So I won't need to use those until we're setting up in the woods. Then the actual hammock. So as you can see, it comes threaded on each end with this webbing, which I am replacing with the whoopee slings. And the reason I'm upgrading to these is apparently these make it much easier to suspend, or rather adjust the hammock once you're in it. So what I've done, I've attached the whoopee sling, I've knotted it to the tape that was through here originally, and I've pulled the tape, so the tape is now all out of the seam and it's pulling behind it the little loop, there's a fixed loop on one end, and I've watched the videos a couple of times now, and I've attached the tape to this loop because this is the loop that stays in the hammock end. And I've pulled the other end through this loop, and I'm going to pull it tight. So that's now fixed. So one end of my hammock is fixed, and when I get out to a tree, I've got this it's like a lasso almost that attaches to the carabiner, and then this dangly bit I pull to adjust. That's the idea. Now I just need to find some trees. Good morning everybody from a little bit of a damp Llandysul. We checked the weather this morning, it wasn't supposed to rain today. We're staying in a beautiful barn conversion about a mile away from here. So it's a beautiful woodland, The rain has eased off a little bit now, but it's a good excuse to put another of my hats on. And yeah, Richard, Teddy and I are on the lookout for a nice pair of healthy trees, nicely spaced apart, so that I can show you my new setup. The reality is it's probably going to be a bit of a comedy with me. I've told Richard he's not to help with me trying to set this up on my own. Haven't found anywhere suitable yet because these trees are on a slope, and for my first camp, or any other camp for that matter, I don't fancy falling and rolling down that slope into the river. So I'm looking for something a bit flatter. It's a beautiful forest, by the way. We just read a little sign back there that the fort on top of this hill dates to Iron Age Hill Fort, so these forests are really ancient. They certainly feel very lovely. Perfect for an overnight. It's like a fairy kingdom. I think I have found a lovely spot. 2 trees, they're on a bit of a slope. But I'm not actually camping here overnight, so I'm only going to be trying out the tent. We're off the path, so quite quiet. Beautiful view. And we're like Iron Age folk. Richard's whittling sticks. And I told him he is not to help. I'm going to set up my camera now and just go for it. And I'm hoping it'll be quite straightforward. I have watched a few tutorials, but you know what it's like, you can watch all the tutorials, it's only when you do it you realise it's a little bit more difficult than it looks, but here goes. Okay, I have selected 2 trees. They're not ideal because they are on a bit of a slope, but I'm going to practice putting a hammock up, so they're good enough for today. So I'm going for this tree here, and this one just behind me. And back at the barn this morning, I took the original tapes out of the seams of the hammock and I've threaded in some whoopee slings. So my first job, from what I've seen, is to attach the tree huggers around with a carabiner. So I'm just off to do that. So tree huggers on my first tree. And I think it's got to go sort of head height. Which is more difficult than it looks. And I've no idea if I'm doing these tree huggers right. Ugh, moss in my eye again. And I'm going to put a carabiner on the end, ready to take the hammock. And now I'm going to go across and do the other tree hugger. And I'm hoping all I've got to do now is attach my hammock because this morning, as you saw, because I filmed it, I've already attached the whoopee slings to the hammock. So in theory, it should just hook on now to these tree huggers. So that's the hook. Okay. This one. Oh, the sun's coming out. Hooray! So if I tighten that. to loosen it now. There's something I haven't got right with these, I know that. Right, let's try it. So I've attached the whoopee slings from the hammock to the carabiners, which are attached to the tree huggers. So far so good. I don't think these whoopee slings are quite right somehow. I shouldn't be having these dangly bits, I'm sure of that. But I thought I would just give you the entertainment of seeing me getting on the hammock. I hope I don't spin around in loops. It's quite high actually. Ooh. This could be fun for you all. Okay. Okay. Well, so far so good. I'm on a bit of a wonk. But it's quite comfy. In fact, it's very comfy. Gentle little swing. That's really good. I'm just going to do one more thing, which is get the bar spreaders in so that I can get the bug net off my face. So, comes with these awful, they remind me of tent camping, you know, these awful poles with elastic joints. Which one of the reasons I gave up tent camping, I really dislike them. But these go in a seam at the head and the foot, and it's really difficult, but there is a little, like a buttonhole that you slide this bar into. I think you can use twigs if you want to save weight, but that goes on one side. Same thing over here. Okay, and then you get supplied a bit of elastic, 2 pieces in fact, which I've looped around the middle loop. I'm not sure if that's the right way to do it, but this pulls the bug screen away from your face and your body, so that just needs attaching. Mine there for now. I don't think that's ideal because I'm not doing a ridge line today, in the interests of time and boredom thresholds for you. But if I was really camping, I think I would put a ridge line higher than the hammock, so that I can attach a top to it in case it rains, and these so that they'll be a bit higher. But just to give you the effect, put another one on this side, and then we're done. And the sun's coming out. Okay. Well, this looks pretty good. And I think you'd need this bug screen in the woods because I can feel I'm getting bitten today, and I didn't put any bug stuff on. So let's give it a whirl. It's easier to get in and out of than I thought. Yes. The sun really is coming out now. Night night, folks. I really like that. The bug net zips both sides, so you can, again, if I had a ridge line, you can gather it up and tie it up to your ridge line, so you can just have the hammock, which would be quite nice on a sunny day, so you can feel you're in the woods. It's a double layer at the bottom, so you can fit your sleep mat between the two sheets, and this layer is waterproof, which is great if you can use this as a bivvy instead of if there were no trees to hand, I guess. But it's also good for like day camps, just as a chair. Zip the net away. I find camping in the woods lovely, but it's always a pain trying to find somewhere to sit. But this is great, isn't it? This is me inside. You can see through the bug net really well because it's a dark colour. Here I am, swinging in my hammock. I think I've probably got a mark where my hat has been. But this is just so comfy. You sway gently. You can look up to these lovely old trees. I know I'm not going to get eaten to death by bugs because of the bug screen. I can feel a bit of rain on me because I didn't put the top up yet. But thought of spending a night sleeping here is amazing. I can't wait. Guys, this is the view I have. This is where I'm looking up. It's a bit grey, a bit rainy. The sun trying to come through. And I'm swaying ever so gently. Got my muddy old boots on, but this is great. Well, that's stage one of my hammock setup, because I do want to show you my hammock sleeping bag, which I'm not going to do today. And I also want to show you how I set a tarp up. Please don't think this is in any way instructional. I have no idea how to set my tarp up, but I'm going to have a go. But I don't think this is too bad a job for a first effort. Hope you agree. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next week. Bye!